Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mindfly, and we're going to go ahead and do kind of the second part of the witch trials, and we're going to talk a little bit about Disney and see how it is with the psychic medium deep dive look in. So, if we're just catching up, we were talking about what it was like with the witch trials, what is a witch, what is how it plays out to everything, and it just like these people are just like can't get done anything. But really, there was like this conspiracy discussion that had come in that there was something with Disney, and there was high incident of criminal activity surrounding it, and all these thoughts of how it all like plays out. And when you actually look at it, when you see the split of the deck, it has something to do about dream time, and it has something to do with the way it all plays out with that Maya. But let's look a little bit deeper on what everyone was seeing and hearing and feeling, what they were confirming through their sources, what they were vetting, and actually, like, you could get literature. Here we go. So when I see this card, I actually see a lot of things that went wrong. And when I see this, there was actually some sort of like creativity that surrounded Disney. And when it went to it, it was like a celebrity to a celebrity status. And there was a partnership of some sort of like a get it done to like setting the whole tone of the scene of the set. So I have to say, like, it is an act. It is a play out. It really is the way it all goes about that you just can't make it up, that you can make a movie about it. But is it truly like Fated where you can make a movie and say, I can't believe they actually did that? So when you see this and you see fifth dimensional access, this really has to do with their higher self, on their intellect, on their intelligence, on their IQ, and how they use their entire mind to their whole being, like their mind, body, and soul connection. And then all of a sudden, like it went into this whole timeline jump, these cards are saying. And then they say, "Oh my gosh, you just really gotta forgive. You really gotta forgive." I can't even believe this. And then it ended. When I see Picault's term, though, I see like ruins. I see historic ruins. I definitely see Central America. I definitely see South America, and I definitely see like in other countries where they actually look and they study this. And there was something all of a sudden like out of Ancient Aliens where you say, light technology, and they're talking about how these extra terrestrial beings, they went to like a higher form of source. And when they went to a higher form of source where you couldn't get done, they had already figured it out. So were they psychic, or were they all knowing, or were they to the point where they went, no, like you just can't do this? It had something about like a humanitarian act also, where they all spoke a common language. So they're showing me like in a little bit of mediumship that's coming through. There's a group of a couple males, a couple females, and they're saying it was like all of a sudden it's this, I lost it. I lost it. There's something about like they're like guardian angels. They were someone who you could talk to, who like had this hard hype connection. So going back to it, when you see this, you see Star Family, like you can't even make it up. So when I see like Epcot, and I actually see this like big epicenter, and I actually see how it all plays out, you have to say, was Walt Disney into ET? Was he into like Universal or anything like that? Because when I'm seeing it, it's like a form of like energy work that actually put out there, because he was very successful. Was he already a visionary, or did he get it down the line? Because there was something like, what is this connection about Disney and witch trials? It really is a try it out, a TRI. So when I'm seeing it and I see someone maybe sitting near the cafes and eating lunch, and they go on the rides, and then they go to the water park, like they're done for the day. They're fried But then when you say it, it actually is a play on words. Like it's like a loop-de-loop, like a roller coaster. And then they get it out. They all get it out. There was something about going on the rides and having this like inner child connection of where it was just absolute like love that you couldn't even understand how they could get that pent up energy out of them, that they actually could use their imagination again. There was something about how they could be everything again. And when you see this and you see Universal Heart, you can't even believe it. Believe it. When you see crystalline grids, I see like looking at the stars, I'm seeing like someone drinking a drink and saying, like, I've had enough. I'm good. And they're clean and clear. So I have to laugh at this when I see star centers. I actually see them stargazing, and then it actually brings out like everything that they needed to do. So when I see this and I see portals, there was like opening doors on like cryotherapy, and then there was like new innovative ideas. So that's when I actually see all these rides come through. When I see this, I see Lightning Board. Like it's like everyone was able to be on the same page. So when I see also this and ending right here and it's sound codexes, it's actually hearing everything that goes on in the park. So again, dream time. What can we actually see with this that would actually be related to a witch trial? It was like bringing out like a game to being fun to getting something drawn out of them that was easy and not so harsh and hasty and nasty, that you could actually alleviate a lot of symptoms. So to make that true, like you're letting loose, it actually was something of that nature. So let's look at the Literary Witches Oracle again. This deck seems to draw out the most at times. So it's showing a little bit of dishonesty about power with Walt Disney and witch trials right now. Mind you, it's something that like what haunted him throughout his life. He's showing me an eel, he's showing me a snake, but he's actually showing me like a bird, like a cardinal. He is showing me the pine cone, but then he's showing me like a bunker. He's showing me the bunker. You just can't even like link the rest of it out. It really was World War II. It really was World War II. So when you actually go and you say, no, you just can't do this, there was something to be true. So, you know, as you go down there and you say, yep, we were able to do we got it out of us. And it's absolutely, we love going down there. And then you see power. And then you see this, it's like the way that is supposed to, like old wounds of the soul. It was something about healing, like slowing it down for that individual mind, body, and soul, and then getting out whatever needed to get out, and then actually going through. Now, is that like all of a sudden you see, is that illegal or that not? The way it is, the way some people are. Is it good to maybe go on a roller coaster if they're pent up? So when you see a wildflowers and you see creature's paw, and then you see the glove, and one more card, you see the doll, that we actually have to look at this, because this is actually what brings it through. This energy is snail. It is renewal. It is romance. It is awakening. Creature's paw. It's like friendship, forgiveness. It's talking about something about other. When you see glove, it's money, status, complacency. When I see doll, illusion, old wounds, childhood, to snail, and then taking your time, the sacred fragility. There was a lot of wounds. There was something tangible lost in World War II. So let's look at another deck. had to do with a burn victim. It had to do with havoc. It had to do with something at night like a sword in the stone. And when you look at it, you go, is that a movie? Is that a movie? Was this a conspiracy theory? Or was this something actually like you can't even see it coming? Because maybe they were right, something about pedophilia or cannibalism or something like that. Because we were talking about Sword and Stone, and we're talking about King Arthur and the owl Archimedes, and you go, there was something like it. Everyone was talking to them. They had to be crazy. Absolutely, up to a point of like, it's just like their true selves. So when I see Degas and I see Othala and I see Rido, I see actually like instances in the public where they go in and they have to have discussions when they walk into the home. And when they walk into the home, it could be like EPS, it could be DDS, it could be DCF or any of that nature to law enforcement. And when they do this, like instinctively, there was something that makes them highly defensive. Highly defensive. And when you look at it, it is like a hidden game, but it could be something as hidden as like there's fruit on a table and I don't know why I'm triggered. So then you look at it and you say, I don't know, are they poking fun at me? Because I want to be a little defensive. So then when you actually do like collecting and you're trying to do like GoFundMe or something like that, and it actually feels like lake effect, snow and wind coming towards you, what came down the pike? How did we get that out of a Sword in the Stone and Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse? I couldn't even believe that. So, it really isn't Pluto or anything of that nature, but there's something about joy. And when you actually see this, it is like a wheel in a turn of luck to where you see jeopardy and you go, I gotta be crazy. I got to be crazy. Is this like fated or not? I see written, WRIT. Now, WRIT is a form of like a set in witchcraft, usually done by a sorceress, but initiated by a witch. When they actually see something of like too much of a contentment order, and a contentment order would be like a stay in place order, a stay put order, which is not, it's illegal to do that to people. You can't peep like at all. You can't even see it coming, and they take like raw iron and they take like it's rusty, and then they light it and they say, I saw it. Then all of a sudden you see like them do odd things, and it has to do with chemistry and elements. It's so disgusting. But that would have been uncommon in a wartime effort. Like you got to do anything and everything and something and nothing. So really, it's some sort of like gift. Because we talked about this in the Salem Witch Trials videos, that there was something about that cemetery in the current date and time where one person, one teenager who was really right on the money with everything, he took a little bit of that cast iron gate, what was left over, and did what he had to do. Because it had power in it, and it like contained wealth for that family, even though it was against the law. So when you see it and you go, there was something about when you look at issues, then you're seeing rust, and then you're seeing the cars, and then you kind of put like, oh, I grew up in this like type of town or this city, and I know exactly what it's going to do with a catalytic converter. You go, there it is. Anything and something to nothing. It has such strength of the type of freeze that when you could actually get triggered going down to Disney, because certain things are gonna, on a visual stimulation, is gonna like kick up even up to a movie. So that is where the discrepancies are coming from. But to each his own. No slander or defamation coming from here. So when I look at this and I say, as a psychic, this is exactly what I'm saying. It has something of being about solid, about being born, and about like how like too much solid. You couldn't understand it. So we'll look at this a little bit more. There we go. Let's look at the Animal Spirit Oracle. So when I'm saying this, I'm actually seeing the beaver, and I'm actually saying the hummingbird. So there's something about, like what we had talked about with Bonnie and Clyde and the beaver, and we talked about the hummingbird and about messengers. There was something about them that they were able to like pinpoint with animals. I couldn't even make it up whatsoever. Then all of a sudden you see like Snow White, and you see the spider, and you see the apple, and you see the firefly, and you go, no, 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 don't do this to me, don't do this to me. It's ruined, ruined. Then you see zebra, and then you see the owl, and you go, done, done. Absolutely. And that is how many people change their religion overnight. Here it is. What do we need to know going forward over this? This one definitely wants to be a short video. Can't even believe it. Here it is. It really propels forward, and then all of a sudden there's no communication. There's something about how it all linked through to the highest degree of known, to a crocodile, to a seal in Connecticut, in the streets of New Haven, to South Africa, to the mineral deal. How did that happen with Disney? How did we find that as a psychic? Definitely not calling it out. It is just straight running out. Straight running out. Here you go. There was this hard everything. Hard everything. Like they broke up a contract. How many contracts since like 1959, 1956, 1959, 1961 to 1963? There were so many contracts that you can't understand were broken. When I see this, and you can go ahead and you can confirm in every which way possible, Ten of Swords, like it was like, oh thank God, because we're losing money. This is that card, the Five of Pentacles, losing money. But we got our wish. It was done. It was done. And when you see this and you see the Queen of Pentacles, you go, oh my gosh, secured. We did our proper ties on our bonds and our tethers, and we're anchored down. When you see this and you go, the Five of Cups in reverse, it was not as bad, they start saying. Then you see this, it was planted. And then you go, the Seven of Swords in reverse. Holy cow. You couldn't steal anything. You couldn't steal it. So as I'm looking about it, and I'm seeing this, there was something about being, there's a psychic, like many psychics, or like it was hard to tell, hard to say, spelt differently. It's showing me hard. To the Four of Pentacles, about any way that a business would secure finances. It was logical. It was absolutely logical, but there was no teamwork. There was no learning. There was no apprentice, like anything. When you see this and you see the Six of Cups, it's happened before with Astors and Gotti and Vanderbilt and Titanic and everything that we have talked about as psychics here on the videos. And they were so happy as a family that you can't even do at all. It's like almost too guarded. And when you see this Ace of Swords, you go, there was no logic on how they did this, but they were well attuned. That's all you need to know. And that is how they all had their partnerships. So, one more draw out of this. Let's go to the poker cards. Here it is. It is the Jack of Hearts. That literally means there's a lot of love to go through with this. When you see Disney, when you actually set and you research about witch trials, and then when you actually look at everything to the highest like point of known, that you can't even get like anything done for your own self, for your own health, or anything of that nature, and how this all ties in. What happens usually after vacation? You get a cold. That's when you literally say, oh my gosh, the mob, or like anything that has like come through. There's Disney. There's Disney. So you got the Ace of Clubs with the Five of Clubs with the King of Spades. Can't make it out, this draw. That says what divorce was coming in, and they knew it this week. It was like already knew it. You couldn't see it coming. To the Two of Diamonds. Everyone's happy about this split up. That's all you need to know. So with that being said, any questions or concerns, leave a like, a comment, a share, an email, a subscribe. It's greatly appreciated, and we will talk to you soon. Have a good night, everyone.